Ready or not, here I come now. Let's play hide and seek. Prepare to be caught. Here I come now. Let's play hide and seek. Riding on the playground. No one dares to make a sound. Round and round and round and round. No one wants to be first found.
Good morning. This is a video that I came across last year, September something last year. And this guy is in like he just traveling across the states. He does something, I mean, it's kind of like I don't know if it's a food truck of sorts, but anyway, he documents this and things like that. So anyway, he's traveling across he's in one town. I think for some reason I want to say it's Cedar Woolley, but I can't be certain. But so recently, Cedar Woolley has been brought up, and I don't recall exactly why or where. Might have been in court documents or in like police reports or something like that. Maybe in a name search iCourt type thing. Anyway, it's been brought up. Just wanted to let you know that this is kind of stemming from there. Not that this guy's in trouble with the law or anything with Idaho, but just that's where he came from, and knowing that it's corrupt over there as well. So just wanted to bring that to your attention. Aren't they pretty lights? He is leaving that town because the cops told him that he could not sleep there, and so he wasn't sleeping. He was awake, and he was doing his thing wherever he was, and they kicked him out of that town. So he took off, and he had to cross over into Idaho. Well, he saw this ISP officer, and he knew, because they always did, he was going to get pulled over. Usually he got his vehicle searched and whatnot, and it's because he believes it's how he looks. He's burly. He's got a full beard and stuff like that. So anyway, this is the story about this ISP officer pulling him over. And I'm just going to play bits and pieces of this, but I will connect the video, my video and their video, into the description. And it's really interesting because this guy, he keeps the camera rolling on his dash. Here, let me just play just a little bit for you here so you get this wording out of the way.
The current
what you're going to do for me, sir, this
Yes.
is not going to go the way that you're wanting it to.
I don't want it to go this way at all.
What I need you to do is pull your vehicle in front of that
Okay,
vehicle.
but
Sir,
but I'm
I'll
submitting
explain to you. I'll look at it in a minute. I'm trying to ask.
Welcome back to the Lackluster channel. Just a few months ago, I featured Paul Barger from the Bread Trucker YouTube channel when officers in Cedar Woolley, Washington essentially forced him out of the city.
You can park, but you cannot sleep in your vehicle overnight is considered camping.
So as long as I don't go to sleep, I'm good.
It's not about whether you sleep.
Well, that's kind of what you said, is if I sleep in my
I
vehicle.
said camping. I didn't say sleep.
You can park, but you cannot sleep in your vehicle overnight.
In today's story, Paul was driving to Oregon through Idaho when an officer drove past him in the opposing lanes. Paul watched as the officer hit the brakes and turned around after him, and once he arrived in town, the officer pulled over both Paul and the vehicle that was traveling behind him and approaches Paul's vehicle first.
Hello. Hey, my name's Corporal Greg. I'm a state police. You have any idea why I got you stopped here? No. You know how fast you're going across that flat back there?
Yep.
You're 63 miles an hour. And the speed limit is there.
Now, here's my information.
You know, pull that out of there for me, please, sir.
Do I have to?
Yes.
Okay. There we go.
Say you did or did not know what the speed limit is through there.
I don't answer questions.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
You still live on Nakoma Lane?
Your information's right there, sir.
Okay, so here's the imperative part of this, is that the courts need to get a hold of you, that it goes to the correct address.
Mhm.
Is this a current address for you?
I've already submitted my information to you. You have everything you need there.
Fair enough, that's expired, by the way.
Here, I can pull up.
Excuse me? What I'm going to have you do is go ahead and pull in front of this vehicle here. Move
Okay.
around that side, pull in front of her.
I'm gonna pull up my current.
What you're going to do for me, sir, this
Yes.
is not going to go the way that you're wanting it to.
I don't want it to go this way at all.
What I need you to do is pull your vehicle in front of that
Okay,
vehicle.
but here's a.
Sir,
But I'm
I'll
submitting
explain
you.
to you. I'll look at it in a minute. I'm trying to ask.
After the officer refused to verify the current insurance information off Paul's cell phone, Paul moves the truck. The officer's refusal to verify the documents, his orders for Paul to move, and now unnecessarily extending Paul's detention to speak to the other driver, all appear to be in retaliation for not answering questions, which is odd, considering the very front page of the agency's website, which claims their very special
So, I want you to take a look at who this is. None other than the ISP, who is always at the pressers with Fry and, all the Santa, all the big boys. Yeah, I forget what his name is, but, yeah, they're all this, talented professionals, serve the people of Idaho, stands on the successes of giants who came before us, and we continue striving for excellence and leaving a legacy for those who follow. Yeah. Well, watch this. You'll see what a legacy. You'll see how this goes here. And this is corruption. Once again, corruption all the way through Idaho. And it is really very scary. I mean, to feel that you can't even drive through a state. And that's what I said. That's what I've been saying, is I wouldn't go anywhere near that place, not even that state, never ever in that town. And I know people that have had issues in that town. One guy almost was they were trying to accuse him of murder in that town, a hit and run, and it was very, very touch and go for him. He barely got out of that one, and it was he was up there hunting. He was in Idaho hunting, and happened to drive downtown, and something happened during the time he was down there, and they tried to pin it on him. And it was, like I said, it was touch and go, very touch and go. And he owned where he lived, he owned like a pawn shop and a separate gun shop, and so he almost lost both of his businesses and everything. It was terrible. Okay, so here we go.
talented troopers' primary duty is to protect the constitutional rights of people in Idaho. There's also a hat tip reference to the Tartarians, but that's a video topic for the odd side. However, here, as Corporal Greg speaks to the other driver, Paul begins to livestream to be sure that he is able to keep an accurate record of the stop that cannot be deleted by a bad-intentioned trooper.
We got Idaho State Patrol right back here. He's not really wanting to play nice here, so I'm already not answering questions. I've already given him my license, my registration, and insurance, and he's asked me a few questions like, is my address correct? Things like that, and I'm not answering. He just needs to write me a ticket and get me out of here.
The officer ends up back in his cruiser, and the three parked vehicles remain idle.
I don't know why this is taking so long.
So basically I'm going to fast forward here. I'm going to tell you what happens because I don't want to get it for reused content. But I do want you to see this video, and I do want you to be aware of this, of what's going on here. And it's not just the local cops. This is throughout the state. And this is not just Moscow. It's like all over. And it's the surrounding towns that are buck up against the Idaho border if they'll play along. See, now Pullman plays along very well. They're very good on the playground together. So, I mean, they've got each other's backs. They have to. They're both college towns, and when one goes, the other one goes. One stays, the other one stays. Pretty much that's how it works. So, what happens is this ISP officer comes back, gives him a little crap about his insurance being expired, and since Paul here is recording video, he doesn't want to pull it up on... He can pull up and show him his insurance, but he's videotaping, and he doesn't want to stop at this point because of the nature of the stop, right? So, anyway, what it boils down to is the cop gives him a ticket and sends him on his merry way. Well, he sits there for a while because he notices that he's got this woman now talking to her in her car. So he gets on the loudspeaker and he tells Paul, "Sir, you can move now. Your traffic stop is done, and pretty much get the hell out of Dodge." And Paul's like, "I'm not going anywhere." He said, "I'm going to see how this, what happens with this stop." So he again gets on the loudspeaker and tells him to move. And he's like, "What am I supposed to do? I don't have a loudspeaker to, holler back at him," he said. So what happens is let me see, did he show him how to move? Here, let me fast forward a little bit and see. Because either he moved first or something. Anyway, he had him move. He did definitely move. But let me fast forward a little bit and I'll get you to that point. So now that you know so I've got you up to speed on that.
He's just sitting back there.
Displayed by the trooper, all because Paul exercised the very constitutional rights the trooper pretends to protect. Paul didn't feel comfortable ending his live stream to show the trooper his insurance a second time, and Corporal Greg marches off again, returning just a minute later.
All right, sir, if I can, get your documents back to you. You received 2 citations today. You received a citation for speeding and a citation for the insurance. You get cited into Boise County Magistrate Court. That's over in Idaho City. You're going to wind up having until August 30th to take care of this. I'd accuse you of appear in person, plead not guilty, taking care of it.
Okay, one other thing that this ISP officer does is he gives him a ticket for 3 miles over the speed limit. 3 miles. That is unbelievable. That is downright, it just is unbelievable. I mean, I've never heard of such a thing. I mean, it's crazy. Anyway, so I'm going to get you fast forward a little bit. He gives him a ticket and then tells him to go on his merry way. So here we go.
I guess we'll see you in court.
The 2 citations were assigned to a court nearly an hour from the location they were issued. Aside from that, the Idaho State Police has access to the Department of Motor Vehicles online database and aggressively pursues unregistered, unlicensed, and uninsured drivers. According to the agency, officers routinely check this database during traffic stops, so the likelihood that this trooper knew how bogus this ticket was is about as high as it gets. Paul now decides to stick around and record the second traffic stop, not wanting to leave until the trooper departs, and the stop gets even more strange.
I just want to get on my way, but I'm not leaving here until he drives away.
While watching the oddities of the other stop, Paul talks to the viewers of his live stream.
That didn't go the way I thought it would go. He started acting tough and acting like, this ain't going to go the way you think it's going to go and all this kind of thing. And yeah, he was fast. I thought he was going to pull out all the stops, try to search, because they always try to search. But in this case, he didn't try to search.
In my opinion, I don't think he let it go on longer, like the search thing, because he was after that woman. And you'll see what I mean once you see what goes on with her. And it is suspicious. Boy, I'll tell you what. And he's so blatant. It's like he doesn't give a shit.
It's kind of astounding. I mean, I was recording and he knew that I was recording. So it's possible that that's part of what made this quick. He's still sitting back here. He's writing another lady a ticket that's in front of me. He had us do this weird shuffle where, like he pulled me out in front of her and then he made her go around me. He wrote me 2 citations. So one is exceeding the speed and yeah.
Mr. Barger, you're free to go, sir.
Yep. He's I don't want to go when he's still behind me, so I don't have a loudspeaker to talk back to him, so I don't really know what to do, but I'm just going to sit here until he leaves. So we can sit here and watch him deal with this other car. So I don't feel like driving in front of him. He can leave first.
When Paul doesn't drive away, the trooper decides to move the traffic stop, though, as we find out soon, the trooper suspects the woman of DUI.
This lady in front of me.
Okay, this is where it gets really weird. So he has her move her car, basically out of view of Paul here, right? So Paul decides to move his vehicle closer so that he can get this, whatever's going down, on camera. And he's wondering why this is, because it's just, the whole thing is just very odd. So he moves around and he notices that the woman is still in her car, and the trooper is having her hand out her bags, like a backpack. Anyway, he puts the backpack on the ground, immediately pulls out a smaller bag that's in there, and kind of keeps a hold of that one, like it has it set aside. And then he has her hand another bag out of her car. So eventually what he does, she doesn't get out of the car at all. He just goes through those bags, and then he takes one bag that's the first bag that he pulled out. He gets a bag out of that, and so he walks off after he looks through both those bags, but he takes the first bag with him, the one that he had pulled out of the first bag initially. So he walks back to his vehicle, and then all the while he keeps looking over at Paul, and Paul's making his, he's talking to his live stream, and he's saying, well, he says, I kind of wonder, he's probably asking the woman if she knows me or whatever. Well, I highly doubt that's what it was. But anyway, so the trooper walks back to her car without the bag that he had taken from her in hand. So still he's noticing that Paul's noticing him. So he has a woman get out of the car, and she goes through the whole, shoot and shebang of all the DUI tests and all that stuff. And she gets back. Paul thinks she's getting a ticket, right? She gets back into her vehicle and basically drives off. Yeah. So what was that? Was that a handoff? It sure looked like a handoff to me. This is so bad. This is so much corruption. It's unbelievable. And Paul, he saw it. He caught it all on camera. So I'm going to get you to that point. And then, like I said, I will link this in the description so that you can see the whole thing. I just don't want to get caught up with the reused content. Okay, hold on.
The woman parks on the highway, and the trooper follows.
I don't know what in the world this guy's doing. Apparently he was just waiting for me to leave. I don't know. I'm gonna drive around a little bit.
Paul then follows after them and continues to film, and at this point, the woman has been pulled over for nearly 20 minutes.
She's getting a citation as well. It looks like he's asking if she knows me. Certainly looking at me a lot.
After another 5 minutes of talking to the woman, the trooper has her hand him a large backpack out of the driver window.
What is this? She's handing a bag out the window. You're gonna search her bag? What the hell is this? I have no idea what's going on right now. He opened up that bag, pulled out the very first, which was like a little fanny pack, and he stopped her. He's been talking to her about whatever's in that fanny pack looking thing. She's handing more stuff out the window.
Now nearly 30 minutes into the stop, the trooper has the woman step out of the vehicle.
Now she's giving her a sobriety test. It wasn't looking good for her.
Trooper Greg appears to take the woman's fanny pack, placing it into his cruiser before entering the vehicle himself. He then returns to the woman moments later, absent her fanny pack, and issues her a citation, later returning just her backpack before both parties depart.
Wow, he let her go, but he kept whatever it was in the car. I don't get it. I don't understand what that was. I don't get it.
Thanks for watching my back on that, sir. I appreciate it. Have a safe day.
Now, if that wasn't cocky as you know what? I don't know what is. Did you see that, you guys? That right there is corruption at its finest. And it's going on throughout the state. And anybody out there who thinks that Brian has a fair shake here is delusional, because he's up against a whole state and its people. Now, I've recently come across a lot of information, just little bits and pieces about Idaho and little things that have happened that I'm going to start trickling out here and there, because it's a lot. It's just what it is. It's like past things that have happened. For instance, one of them is the gun laws for the University of Idaho. That one was mind-blowing, with how they could actually carry a gun on them in the university, within the university of the students going to school, just being there on a day-to-day basis. They could carry a gun on them within the walls of the school. That is just crazy. So I've got something on that, which it's kind of interesting. The guy's trying to, they've got one guy saying, hey, it's okay, everything's cool, and another guy saying, hey, there needs to be some stipulations here, right? And it sounds to me like they did get something settled, because in the police reports, there'll be days where you'll just see gun check, gun check, gun check. And so they must have a place where they check their guns in and check them out as they go in and out of the university. But that's also really interesting, because there's days that it makes you wonder what's going on that particular day. Maybe they're all target practicing, or maybe they all have a class that have these guns or whatever. But sometimes there's a lot of them in one day. So I find that kind of interesting. But prior to having this passed, they literally could issue a person under the age of 18 to legally have a handgun. And I'm like, wow, that is crazy. And the other ones, they didn't have to show something about having to show a permit or handle carry permit or something like that. They didn't have to ask them. They just let it go. And yeah, it was pretty bad, I guess, for a while there. So anyway, let's get through this. This is basically what goes on now. Is he just goes throughout his day, leaves, and then I think the guy follows him again. Hold on, let me find that spot.
Yeah, watching his back.
The trooper then parks behind Paul and watches until he decides to leave. It is my understanding that Paul fought the tickets. Paul has a wide variety of content, including a new school bus build, and this playlist dedicated to law enforcement. Be sure to check it out and let him know I sent you, and let me know in the comment section what you think of this odd encounter. Thanks for watching.
So there you have it. The trooper parked behind Paul and just continued to wait. So Paul eventually just took off. So I'm going to continue to bring you little tidbits like this, as well as other things, of course. But I believe these things need to be fresh in our brains, in our minds, because it is that corrupt, and it's it's statewide. It's nationwide. Yes, it is, and it is. They're blatant in your face. Look at that. What he did was literally, he did not give a crap about that guy watching him at all. I mean, he went up and actually thanked him for watching his back. That is ballsy. That's worse than ballsy. That is probably why there's a chief of police in Pullman that's put on leave right now. Because they're so ballsy, they think they can get away with anything and everything, and nothing's going to touch them, which typically it doesn't. I mean, they do have like something like this, but where they, get reprimanded or whatever, if that's even what you can call it. I mean, I'm sure they still get paid, still on the payroll and everything. I wouldn't doubt it at all. And that's what keeps it going as rampant as it does, and it gets stronger. It gets more volatile, it detailed, and frequent. Yeah, and more people because they're seeing other people get away with it. That's just wrong, you guys. What are we gonna do about this? We're gonna stick together, stick our heads together. We all need unicorn horns. Love ya.